All right. So I just saw it because it was one of those things that pops up that you're like, is this a real story, or is this kind of clickbait, or what's the deal with it? So Oregon is planning to become a hijabi state, where we'll be forcing and this is coming out of the liberal vote, which is the women's vote in Oregon, to wear a fucking face diaper forever, even though it says on the box itself that it can't prevent viral spread, and on top of it that it's not even supposed to be used outside of a surgical setting for more than 20 minutes. But now this state is trying to make it permanent because people in the state are morons. I mean, just plain out. You know, it's the state has a lot of hippie, liberal morons, to the point where it's at one time there's some forgiveness for it, for what that one can have. But there's a point at which, at some point, when you just have dealt with too many weirdos, that you're like, permanent masks. You morons. You fucking morons. Like, so now it's that state that it's beyond just that these are kooky, nerdy white people who have some bad ideas. These are stupid rejects from society. A lot of these people are stupid-ass rejects from society. And I just really want to make clear that this is one of the things that's going to fuck up the West Coast, but Oregon's over. Now that the mask mandate's being discussed as a mandate that they can make this last more than 180 days, that it will be over 3 months, that they have this emergency power to make people, like, you know, do the Bureau of Kooky Walks can make you walk a certain way for 180 days. These people cannot even begin to discuss the junkies and the riots. They can't even discuss the riots around here. Like, people won't even discuss it. You could feel the horrible quiet. Like, somebody literally just confessed to me that they went through all the process of going back to school here at the local diploma mill, the University of Oregon. And so this person went to school. They went back to school, and then they said, "Have you ever been in a room full of 300 people and you can't see their face?" She goes, "This shit is whack." And I was like, yeah, I'd imagine it is. And because that's why you go to college for the most part, to meet other people who are into things that are smart. You don't really go there to get very well educated unless you're going into some very specific field that remunerates you for that time very, very well within a very short time. Like electrical engineering, electronic engineering, what's it called, mathematics, working in rarefied, what the fuck? Sorry, there's stuff all over. There's like, somebody spray painted a swastika on the ground. There's like clothing around here. And then it turns out I'm out here early enough that all of the snails are trying to get into the grass, and I'm trying not to stomp on them. I feel really bad about stomping on snails and worms. But so the left is now stuck at this, where they have these kooky, goofy old white women, and now it's really at that level that what has happened is the right wing is now strong with young male energy. Let's just, I had to think about this because of the joke line that Salty always says of energons. The left are old women, the right are young men. at this stage. And the old women will lose because nobody really finds them attractive or interesting. But young men have potential. That energy has potential. It makes things. They will succeed. That's why the right will succeed. And the old women are bonkers and unwanted. People want their mom. A man wants his wife around. Almost none of society wants old witches around. And so this is something that I was a little, it was when Edward Dutton brought up what were witches, what are the witches now? Like, who were they? Like, genetically, like, anthropologically speaking, who were these people? And now I'm kind of thinking about what he said about, like, well, no, it's, you got a high mutational rate among women who lived a long time. And eventually, what you end up getting is society having this burdensome class of these women who are unmarried, could no longer take care of themselves, and nobody else wanted to take care of them. They just become burdensome and troublesome for society. And I'm thinking about it, I was like, yeah, just like how if you have too many young men, like you have all these black pharaohs that fuck up so much stuff. And it's like, it's the same thing. It's and it also shows kind of this need in society for people to need one another and to have some kind of use for one another. So when you have the pharaohs rioting, there's just no use for them. They're useless people, and that's why they're destroying things. When you have the old women voting so that everybody wears a face diaper forever, and just getting fatter, and then ruining the medical system, so that they could basically never really take care of their health and just unload the responsibility on the rest of society. That's kind of another example of like how a portion of society has then grown to such numbers that they're just not useful, that they're a burden in a way, that they bring a social problem with their numbers, and the natural thing of humans being lazy, because humans are lazy. We want to save energy. But really, a lot of people out here, they believe the windmill, you should build more windmills. This is the voter base that believes they should cut off natural gas and other fossil fuels. They don't care why, because they're losers. A lot of the liberal voting base of the Northwest are crazy losers. And when you're around them long enough, you really start to understand this. Like, if you work with them, if you listen to them speak, you start to, like, understand, like, okay, you don't have really a grasp of the world out above a high school level. Oh, okay, you simply cannot grasp what you don't know about the energy sector. It's this, but then it's beyond not knowing, it's going out of one's way to then not be informed, and really enjoying not being informed about it. Yeah, so to a great extent, one of the things I think a lot of people should start getting used to is this idea of Oregon becoming a great example of how shitty liberal politics and the liberal worldview are. Because I honestly think what it's going to do is it's going to start causing businesses, that there will be too many businesses that will be like, this isn't worth it. I never know when these people are going to decide to do something unbelievably stupid. And that before there was an aspect of it that it was like Springfield from The Simpsons. But now it really has that quality. Really has the quality of, oh no, the adults have decided they're going to be stupid. And they're going to buy the monorail, and And recall the whole reason this is the governor is the exemplar of a Gen X woman who's failed upward based completely upon her vagina. You know, it's almost as bad as like Kamala Harris. That this is somebody who the only thing you really ever know about her is that she's openly bi. That's about the only thing about the governor that really earned any fame that I know about. And so now she's saying everybody's got to wear a diaper on their face all the time, forever. And I'm like, make people do it. I want to see it happen. Let's try to make people do that. Yeah, try to make people do that. The only people who are going to do it are people who want to hide themselves while they're committing crime. And then the many people that'll be going inside, wanting to do something. But now, the thing is, because you can't make anybody do anything in Oregon, people don't do it. They just walk around without masks on in grocery stores all the time. Like all the time, like constantly. People just hold their shirt up over their face. I'm not kidding. Like, I mean, sometimes it's almost every other person in the store is doing this. So this is way beyond we're pretending. This is totally like liberals being childish fucking morons. They're just pretending now. They're doing anything they can to keep up this pretense that the mask mandate worked. Anything that they can do to keep up this pretense that, oh, the right wing didn't understand everything that now we know about COVID within the first 3 months. Remember, Jim Streams broke down almost a year's worth of what was future news about COVID. All in you know, within the first 3 months. If you were watching Stefan Molyneux, you knew the actual gene map. You saw the gene map of COVID within the first 3 months of all of this. And all these morons are catching up, thinking like, and then with these in the 30s, this school system in the 30s, and then these people all end up making it in the University of Oregon and think they're really smart. So, with these fuckers who have one of the worst school systems in the country, and that they have literally like a population of leftover women who owe that same university system a small fucking fortune, and are just trying to make it now on wage jobs that are starting, that they are voting out of the fucking state. They're voting wage jobs out of the state. Eventually, all there's going to be are the big companies here. And really, I mean, like, I've never imagined the left would make a place like this so ripe for the picking for major corporations. I mean, it's ripe for the picking. In a little while longer. And so now the beauty of this is I ended up having to tell somebody this, is at the end of this, everybody's going to find out the involvement of Bill Gates. And I want to thank whoever that was on Facebook that you sent me that fantastic video of all those people talking about the new way they're going to send people antiviral RNA downloads, so that they could just, you know, basically just make them and then pump them out through society. I love that you sent me that video, because that clears up a lot. That answers a lot of questions. And that video is probably going to get more and more and more viral. But people should just understand, the Northwest doesn't matter anymore. These people are broken, they're mutants, they're losers. There's a lot of really good people here, but there's a lot of mutated losers here. And you've got to let them fail. You've got to let the Northwest fail. that the most important thing that can be done, this is so important that the young male right gets this, that at some point you have to look at other people when the time comes and say they have to pay for what they did. They voted for it. They have to pay. Until they vote and change their entire fucking legislature and go fucking Republican, they voted for it. Make them fucking pay. Because on the West Coast, a lot of these people see like, oh, your family got wiped out by a flood. Well, you shouldn't have voted for Trump. That's really how these people see the rest of the country. A lot of these fat mutated bitches out here really see themselves as some kind of special group of people who are better than other people. A lot of them. A lot of people out here really don't get, like, you motherfuckers need to know your place in the world. You don't make space technology, that's Texas. You don't launch shit into orbit, that's Florida. No, know your fucking place. You know, it's you're rife with junkies, you know. You could barely raise your kids to understand what they're supposed to do with their genitals. And then beyond all that is this idea, I mean, like, just put this last one together, that supposedly it's a state of people so aware of this horrible medical threat and this, oh yeah, these stupid people in Kansas don't understand the math. They can't even teach ethnic minorities how to fucking read. So they're saying, you don't need to fucking read. You could graduate school and not be able to fucking read. And it's like, what? How stupid are you motherfuckers around here? How lazy and stupid are you shiftless motherfuckers around here? And so that's now, and so that's, they've declared defeat. And it's really one of these things that makes me think back to one of the favorite bands. If you're ever aware of the way the punk rock scene was here in the Northwest, everybody loves the Descendants. Nobody remembers the Descendants, but the people who remember the Descendants love the Descendants because they were one of the best punk rock bands in America that had ever existed and could ever exist. Well, they have a song, and there's a line, you cannot be a victim, no, you can only be a victim if you admit defeat. Oregon has a defeat flag wrapped around its head all the time. Defeated people. Utterly defeated people. So they can be constantly victimized. When you're completely defeated people and you're like, we are the defeated people, then you're always being victimized by everybody. By the sun coming up in the morning, you're being victimized. You're being forced to go through existence another day. That is what's happening here in the minds of a lot of people. And there once was a bolder bunch of white people who they were tougher. They're a tougher bunch. You still see them. They don't take drugs. Or they're off the drugs. That's another big one up here. And I actually got to give, there we go, because I could feel the harshness. Give credit where credit's due. A lot of folks up here come off the drugs and do right for themselves because they got it, because so many people up here are on fucking drugs. So so I got to give credit where credit's due in that regard. These guys who you could tell they've come back from a bad place, and oodles of stupid and lazy, moronic and mutated that they can't think through the fucking cloud of liberal bullshit. They esteem liberal bullshit, they esteem criminality, and they should pay. They should pay by having Oregon fail. And it will. It inevitably will. Something about this place is going to fail. And the permanent mask mandate and stuff like that really start showing. No, these There's just too many people here who are fundamentally irrational, violent, criminal. That's who's been attracted to this state. You know, whenever you have people standing up for multiracial Christian American identity politics, so this would be like literally the kind of people who, this would have been the kind of people who were the civil rights activists, now up against these entirely lily white old hippies who say, because you're a black conservative preacher, you are a Nazi. So that's where the white liberals are really at. That they literally are attacking, that the white liberals are attacking black religious people, ethnic minority religious people. Tiny Tawessa got shot. Like, Samoans are notoriously religious and old school and old fashioned. Tiny Tawessa makes perfect sense as a Proud Boy. Like, I can't, that's one, yeah, like, that's one that actually even throws me off a little, is that understanding. I don't know how many of you grew up around Samoans. You don't take Jesus' name in vain around Samoans. That's a great way to get stomped to death by Samoans. It's a real good way of learning the bad hand of Samoans. And so I think it's just funny that all of a sudden these people are like, oh, he's, you know, Tiny Tawessa, fascist, blah, blah, blah. And this idea of like that everyone can now throw the word fascist around without really, with obviously no grasp at all what it means definitively. Not having shit in their minds about what that, no, but you guys are the ones who are enforcing government diktats of the left of center party in line with Big Pharma. Actually, you all are the fascists, and you're fascists because the progressives were fascists. That's our word for them. They were very fascist. They literally, the New Deal was written up by people who were former military and people who were into banking and deep into the manufacturing center. That's what the whole idea behind the New Deal was to absolutely crush any understanding of there being some workers' rights movement or the workers having an anti-war type of movement. No, it was meant to whittle down who was capable in the economy of being invested in. And so you had to go to certain employers for food. And they were going to do the same thing with the vid. They were going to try to make people, oh, now you can only work for this many companies and they all require that you get your shots. That it was just the same, it's the same plan again. And it's always the Democrats. It's the Democrats who do this every few generations. Where they ruin everything in the name of the revolution. And well, it's revolutionaries. They ruin everything in the name of the revolution, and then you have to dance to their tune after the revolution, or you learn what it was to be like, you know, in the Vendée Massacre. And yeah, and so one of the things that, then there's this irony about it all, that maybe this is what rounds it all out, is when I have to bring up the Vendée Massacre. And the Vendée Massacre is something that, especially when you bring it up in a place like Eugene, Oregon, because there's all these people who wear berets because they think the French are this and they think the French are that. And the French are a defeated race. So the thing that I find interesting is these are people who, they've never heard of the Vendée Massacre. When they love the French Revolution. They love it. They love the idea that, like, pseudo-religions were made up by the revolutionaries, really to humiliate the Catholic Church. The idea of taking over church properties. That's another thing that you'll find here. You'll find people will be okay with that idea. Now, you posit that, well, why don't we just take a Sierra Club's property now and then? Just snatch it, you know, fuck those people, you know, fuck them and their ideas. No, that's not okay. But the church, yeah, you could, because, I mean, fuck those people. And this is something that, you know, Oregon's not all bad. It's not all bad. In fact, there's a lot of good here. There's a lot of potential. But a lot of people moved here that are not just blue-pilled, but there's like, it's a blue pill factory. And you have to let it fail. You have to cut off its water and power. You just have to. The only thing that's really probably keeping this state going, as far as like, oh wow, you know, they're really getting income for this, is what's left of timber, and really what's left of what's going on with the weed industry, which inevitably they're going to have to tax. And I told all the weed growers, your power and water is going to go through the roof. It's already starting to happen all over the country. They're already saying water and power is going to go through the roof. The minute the Biden administration got in there and started fucking around with energy, the energy sector, I was like, this is going to fuck you guys. This is going to fuck you guys real bad. And inevitably, Oregon's going to have to start looking for revenue because it has a million junkies on the fucking dole. And I mean, I really can't even tell you, like, come the 1st and 15th, these people all have plenty of EBT. Everybody structures themselves so that they can make that EBT money. So I make food that I blast chill, and then we sell it because it can be sold via EBT because it's cold. I know some of you might be like, wait, that's the point. You're not supposed to have prepared food. No, it's sorry. It's like anything. It's like the mask. Oh yeah, we'll repeal the mask mandate one day. You know, we'll repeal it one day. Don't worry. See, you could just vote to repeal the forever mask mandate. And it's just one of these things of like, or you guys could just admit you're kind of losers and morons, and that you listen to your hens, and that your hens don't understand what a rhizosome is from a lysosome. And so, a rhizome from a lysosome. And so it's, you know, that's it. I mean, it's just these are, no, you just have a lot of this huge concentration of women that are not actually knowledgeable about much outside of hobbies and things that like girls would be knowledgeable about, like plants or something, or gardening. And it shows, being that lean muscle mass is important to Oregonians. And so that therefore means, like, that's a fundamental lack of knowledge about human biology. The not getting the import of lean muscle mass in general. So people will cardio the fuck up, but they won't get lean muscle mass, which is what actually keeps you fit. And so that just, and that it's weird. The idea is that if you actually are built, that's weird. In Oregon, people think it's weird if you're built, or you're some kind of jock or meathead. That's a very normal sentiment. I've met many women who have said that they, like, can't trust when they see, like, they would date a guy with a dad bod or this and that, or you see that a lot here. And it's like, yes, you are dating down, you are dating a submissive, and you know what you're trying to do. This submissive will do what you want. Very likely this submissive has something about them that they could get you what you want. So it doesn't matter that he physically looks like a wimp. And that's also a thing, like to date wimps. That's something you see here a lot, drug addicts and wimps. And it's so, and which also, you know, why take away from a nice guy? Like, really, there's some of this has to do with, no, this is a nice dude. But so if you see the story about the permanent mask mandate being discussed in Oregon, that's something to understand. Is the permanent mask mandate is being discussed in Oregon because of a huge number of people that are fundamentally under average, and that the state has done this over a generation, below average outcomes, and it's what liberals do because it's mediocrity, and this is something that I've had to confront because of my upbringing as a liberal on the West Coast. This and really a criticism from somebody, from one of the leaders on the Outward Bound School in the Pacific Crest Outward Bound School. When I was on the Pacific Crest Outward Bound School excursion, one of the things that this man brought up is he's like, when we're on the trail, we try to hit the trailhead at a certain time so we could get certain things done by a certain time of the day, so that you have an extraordinary time, rather than having a mediocre experience. And had to give the salute. That dude was yoked as hell. Okay, there we go. And he was young. He had a Chad mustache, like a Chad white man mustache, like 70s hair. And I mean, the guy, he's one of those people who's wearing a baggy sweatshirt, but you can still see his shoulders. See, there we go. See, that's what I'm talking about, Oregon. Do that. Giant white men. This is the thing, is I'll see these guys who I'm like, do you understand how big you are, white man? Lift some fucking weights, white man. Achieve your glory. Achieve your glory. You know, and every once in a while I see somebody achieve their glory. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, achieve your glory. Like, look at you, bro. You're fucking yoked. Yoked as hell. Motherfuckers look at you and go, why is that fool so yoked? What the fuck is all that crap? I'm looking at the volleyball thing. It looks like there's some weird oh, it was ducks. I'm like, something happened to that sand. It's so weird. And I'm like, oh, ducks walked all over it and crapped. Well. Oh, and there go the duckies. Yep. Yeah, now they're all chilling. Now they're all asleep. They're all like, we'll take a nap here. Oh boy, you can't even really see them. That's kind of cool. You can't really see them. Yeah, I'd imagine, yeah, you have to have a certain kind of visual acuity. And that's why they do that. So that they appear to be a part of the terrain. That's actually kind of neat. Yeah, but I mean, so there's a part of me that I kind of still love Oregon. Because it's pretty and beautiful, and the air here is amazing, and I mean the clouds, and just looking at the clouds past the hills. But holy crap, the amount of fucking liberal moron shit going on here is making me want to kill. I just, god damn it. The super liberal moron shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with it? Like, yeah. Every few days, I'm just struck by you people are fucking doomed. And the thing that also I think that a lot of people here don't get is when you're a kid and you're raised around like Junkieville, being raised around junkers in the streets makes you resent them. Like, you become hard-hearted toward junkies. You know, because you're like, no, you wanted to be a junkie. This wasn't something you didn't choose to do. You chose to do it over and over and over again. And people I don't think they really get, like, that it has to create that. Like, that's what happened with me being raised in the Tenderloin of San Francisco. You know, I learned to hate San Francisco homeless people and junkies and the Tenderloin. So, which is disgusting. The Tenderloin has always been disgusting. All right, later.